Hey everyone, welcome back. We are diving deep today, really deep, into some fascinating ideas
Yeah,
that challenge how we think about the world, about good and evil.
absolutely.
So we're looking at the teachings of the Atlantean Brotherhood,
Mm-hmm.
specifically the words of WaXhira. Now, dear listener, if you've been following along with us, you know that the Atlantean Brotherhood, it's a bit of a mystery,
Oh, yeah, shrouded in myth and legend.
but their teachings
Yeah.
offer some really profound
Yeah,
insight
they're awful stuff.
into human nature and the forces that shape our reality.
Absolutely. And this deep dive, it's all about really understanding Waxhira's perspective.
Yeah, and WaXhira argues that the biggest threats to humanity,
Mm-hmm.
they're not these
Okay.
evil masterminds or dictators.
Not the mustache-twirling villains.
No, it's much more subtle.
Far more insidious.
It's the combined forces of ignorance, fear, and superstition.
Which, when you think about it, it kind of makes sense, right? Because these things, they're everywhere. Right. And they work together. They feed off each other.
Exactly, creating this like downward spiral.
Yeah, a cycle of suffering, essentially.
Exactly, and what's fascinating about WaXhira is they don't just present these forces as like abstract concepts. They actually give us
Right.
a framework for understanding how they operate, how they impact our lives.
And, crucially, how we can break free.
That's the key. Empowerment, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's start unpacking this, shall we? And I think a good place to begin is with ignorance.
Ignorance.
Now, you, dear listener, you're probably already someone who values knowledge, right?
Yeah, you're here listening to this deep dive.
Exactly. But WaXhira goes deeper,
Oh, yeah.
defining ignorance, not just as a lack of information.
It's not just about what you know.
Right. It's not like, oh, you just need to read more books. Done.
It's deeper than that.
It's a mindset,
Yeah, a lack of curiosity, a closed-mindedness.
a resistance to new ideas, different perspectives.
Exactly. And what's wild is that Waxhira argues this type of ignorance, it actually thrives in our age of information overload.
That's so interesting because you think, oh, we have all this information at our fingertips.
Right. The internet, it's
We should be the least ignorant generation.
exactly. But Waxhira says, no, it's almost like,
It's almost like the opposite is happening.
yeah, it's like with so much information bombarding us from all sides, it becomes easier to just shut down, to tune out anything that challenges our existing beliefs.
Right, or to just accept whatever confirms our biases.
And Waxhira actually uses this powerful analogy in the source material, comparing a closed mind to a barren land.
Oh, I like that.
They say no matter how much rain falls, how much knowledge is available, if the soil is hard and unyielding, nothing will flourish. Cool.
Yeah, it's such a
Yeah.
vivid image.
Vivid and a little bleak. But
Yeah, it is, but it's also a bit
hopeful, too.
hopeful because it implies we can change the soil, right?
Exactly. We can cultivate curiosity, open our minds.
Yeah, we can choose to be receptive.
We can choose to learn.
Right, and I think this brings us to an important point about how this barrenness of the mind, it's not just an individual problem.
No at all.
It impacts our relationships.
It affects our communities, our societies.
WaXhira specifically links ignorance to distrust and prejudice.
Yeah, they argue that the less we understand others, the easier it is to fear them, to other them.
Right, because when we don't know, we tend to fill in the gaps with our assumptions.
Often with negative assumptions.
And that can lead to all sorts of problems.
Conflicts, discrimination, violence, even.
And if we just look around, I mean, it's not hard to find examples of this playing out in the world, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, just look at the way certain political groups demonize their opponents, reducing them to simplistic caricatures, you know?
Yeah, or the way certain media outlets present biased information.
Right. It's all about preying on our unfamiliarity, our lack of willingness to engage with complexity, with different viewpoints.
And it's so effective because, let's face it, we're hardwired to be afraid of the unknown.
Right. It's a primal instinct.
Which I guess brings us to fear itself.
Fear.
Now, this is something we all experience.
Absolutely. It's a natural human emotion.
WaXhira argues that fear is often weaponized, becoming a tool of manipulation and control.
Oh, yeah. It's a classic tactic.
And in the source material, WaXhira actually breaks down how this manipulation happens, outlining the techniques used by those in power.
Right, like creating a sense of constant threat.
Yeah, like, oh, there's always something to be afraid of.
Exactly, or using fear to stifle dissent.
Oh, like, don't speak out or you'll be punished.
Right, and WaXhira points out that this can be incredibly subtle.
So it's not always like overt threats.
No, it can be more like creating a climate of suspicion where people are afraid to express their true opinions for fear of social ostracism, you know?
Right, or fear of losing their job.
Exactly. It's about making people afraid to rock the boat.
And it works because, like we said, fear is a powerful motivator.
Oh, it's prime.
It can make us act in ways we wouldn't normally.
Makes us irrational.
And once you're afraid, you're less likely to question things.
Less likely to fight back.
You're more likely to just go along with whatever those in power tell you.
Right. It's like fear makes us more compliant, more susceptible to control.
And this is where I think the really insidious part comes in. Because fear doesn't just make us vulnerable to manipulation by others.
No,
It also limits our own potential.
absolutely. It paralyzes us.
Prevents us from taking risks, pursuing our goals, living our lives to the fullest.
Right. It keeps us small, keeps us playing it safe,
And that, in turn, impacts our ability to connect with others.
creates isolation.
Because when we're afraid, we're less likely to reach out, to build bridges.
We retreat into ourselves.
And that isolation, that inability to unite and collaborate, it ultimately undermines our collective well-being.
It weakens us as a society.
So we've got ignorance, creating fertile ground for fear. Fear making us vulnerable to manipulation and limiting our potential. And then, to make matters even worse,
Right, like it couldn't get any worse.
we add superstition into the mix.
Superstition, that's the final piece of this unholy trinity.
And WaXhira defines superstition as belief in supernatural causality.
Meaning believing that events happen because of some mystical force or power.
Right, and they make it clear that this isn't just about, harmless folklore or rituals.
No, it's not just about lucky charms and knocking on wood.
It's about attributing events to things we don't understand.
Right. It's about seeking explanations outside of reason and logic.
And this can lead to all sorts of irrational actions and harmful consequences.
Because when you believe that the universe is governed by unpredictable supernatural forces,
Right, you're less likely to take responsibility for your own actions.
you might be more likely to blame others, to scapegoat.
Or to just give up and say, well, it's all out of my hands anyway.
Exactly. It fosters a sense of helplessness.
And in the source material, WaXhira actually uses a really chilling example to illustrate the dangers of superstition,
Yeah, the Salem witch trials.
which is such a horrific example of how fear and ignorance
Combined with superstition.
can lead to truly terrible things.
It's a reminder that superstition isn't always harmless.
Right, it can have real-world consequences.
And it's not just a thing of the past, either.
Oh, absolutely not.
I mean, look at all the conspiracy theories circulating online today.
The misinformation, the disinformation,
Because, like, when we lack critical thinking skills,
when we don't question this.
it's easy to fall prey to explanations that offer a simple sense of order in a complex and often chaotic world.
Because superstition, it gives us easy answers, right?
Yeah, it tells us who to blame, what to fear.
It often places blame on external forces rather than encouraging us to confront complex realities.
Which is exactly what WaXhira and the Atlantean Brotherhood are urging us to do.
They're saying, hey, let's use our reason, let's look at the evidence.
Let's seek knowledge grounded in the real world.
Let's not just accept things blindly because they make us feel better or less scared.
It's about empowering ourselves through knowledge and critical thinking.
So if we're putting all this together, according to WaXhira, we're essentially caught in this vicious cycle
This trap.
where ignorance breeds fear, fear feeds superstition.
And superstition just reinforces ignorance.
It's a recipe for suffering.
For division, for stagnation.
But thankfully, it's not a hopeless situation.
No, not at all.
WaXhira offers a powerful message of empowerment, arguing that we have the capacity to break this cycle.
We have the power to choose a different path.
And that path is paved with knowledge, courage, and reason.
Knowledge over ignorance, courage over fear, reason over superstition.
And these are not passive qualities.
No, they require effort.
They require conscious choice and action.
We have to actively cultivate them.
So let's talk about what that looks like in practice.
Yeah, how do we actually do this?
How can we as individuals start to chip away at these forces in our own lives and in the world around us?
Well, WaXhira actually lays out some pretty practical steps in the source material.
Give us the good stuff.
All right, so first and foremost, cultivating curiosity. So that's key. It's about being open to new ideas.
Questioning everything.
seeking out diverse perspectives, even those that make you uncomfortable.
Right, because discomfort can be a sign that we're learning, that we're growing.
Exactly. It means we're challenging our own assumptions.
And then, when it comes to fear, WaXhira emphasizes the importance of courage.
Courage.
Not as the absence of fear, but as the willingness to act despite it.
Because let's face it, we're never going to be completely free from fear.
Right, it's a natural part of being human.
But we don't have to let it control us.
We can choose to face our fears head on.
To take action even when we're afraid.
And that act of courage can be incredibly empowering.
It can break the hold that fear has over us.
And finally, when it comes to superstition, WaXhira stresses the importance of critical thinking.
Critical thinking.
Evaluating the information we encounter.
Questioning easy answers, seeking evidence-based explanations.
Right, not just believing something because it sounds good or feels right.
It's about training our minds to be discerning and skeptical.
But not in a cynical way.
No, in a way that empowers us to make informed decisions.
To see through manipulation and propaganda.
To be active participants in our own enlightenment.
Rather than just passive consumers of information.
Exactly. We have to be critical consumers of information. And this brings us to a final, thought-provoking question for you, dear listener.
Ooh. Love a good thought-provoking question.
If these forces of ignorance, fear, and superstition are so pervasive, as WaXhira suggests,
as we've been discussing,
how can you identify and combat them in your own life?
Ooh, good one.
In your community, in the information you consume, what are the specific choices you can make, the actions you can take?
Yeah, how can you cultivate knowledge, courage, and reason in your own little corner of the world?
It's a lifelong challenge, that's for sure.
But it's a challenge worth taking on.
Absolutely. Because by choosing knowledge over ignorance, courage over fear, and reason over superstition,
we can create a better future.
A more just, a more compassionate, a more enlightened world.
For ourselves and for generations to come.
That's the goal, right?
That's the hope.
And that's where the true power lies. In our choices, in our actions.
So what will you choose?
What will you do?
Think about it. And until next time, keep seeking, keep questioning, keep diving deep.
Stay curious, friends.
We'll see you soon.